Hello investors and welcome back to Just Randy Stocks. During this video I want to go through the technical charts and I also want to go through some of the news updates and tell you what I believe is going to happen in this next week with Lucid Motors. In the last 2 weeks it has been on an absolute uptrend since it reached that $18 and that RSI was screaming buy me now. I checked it out and I was like, look, you probably want to add this one. So not only was the price low, but there was a catalyst of September 27th with the production preview. So these two things coupled together were almost guaranteed to send this price back up at one of those resistance lines, and that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing it bounce off resistance. So let's not delay any further. Let's go ahead and get started. So if you zoom out on the chart, this bottom red line is what I put in based on previous touch points of where there was resistance. Now, of course, you're going to go over that a little bit or majority of the time, but the more touch points that you have on your resistance line, the more likely you are to hit the actual resistance in the future. Now, you could cap this, and that's what I did with the second line. I went ahead and copied what was already in place where it touched on 3 points, and you can see we've got a variety of candlesticks here in this 30-minute time window. So if I zoom back out, you could see that it's pretty consistent. It doesn't hit here. It doesn't hit here. So it's going to go over in some cases. So what do I have as support? And I did the same thing. I drew in 2 lines for a zone. And you can see it's pretty much stayed within this zone. And the candlesticks here, you had about 4 that were green that led up to this sell-off here. And there was a lot of selling pressure here and volume. And now you're starting to see volume decrease a little bit. So I believe you could potentially see some support in this $24 area. It looks like it's going to try and dip below this. So if it does test this, you're going to need to put in some additional support lines. And it looks like it would be okay to put it here at the 23.50 range. Now that might be a little aggressive. In the morning, I would look for that dip and, just keep watching this selling pressure take effect. Make sure you watch your headlines because this could be coupled with different events. But all of the news events have been good with Lucid leading up to September 27th, which I still believe is a catalyst. And I don't think we're close enough to see this go down too much further. So I think we'll find support. If we don't find it here within this range that I drew in, I believe it's going to hold up within this 23 range. Now go ahead and fill in your own charts, put in your own lines and make sure you zoom out to see where it's previously been tested to hold up. But I think you could come back here as early as here and say there's possible support here. So I always believe in cost averaging down. When you're looking to re-enter a position, you can see it's starting to go below that resistance line. So all I would do is I would take this one and I would move it down here to about right there, and I'd start cost averaging into the zone. So I don't believe it's going too much further, but 25% of your total allocation that you plan to spend, just start taking bites of this as it starts to dip because you never know when it's going to start reverting back. And I still believe that this isn't finished going up. It's just a healthy, bounce off of that resistance line is what we're seeing. So let's go ahead and go into some of the news that's taken place. So I want to go through the news highlights just real quick. Lucid is a combo of Tesla and Ferrari. Bank of America analysts gave a price target of $30. And now that it's got an official EPA rating to prove it, it just solidifies what we already knew. So if you kept track of this, you already know that Motor Trends had already test drove the vehicle and had already given a range that was much higher than the competition. So we also have the analyst ratings here on Yahoo Finance that have been updated since 9/15. So nothing new there. And then Citigroup has also got a buy rating. So if you want to talk about risk with the stock, of course, various execution-related risks tied to production and delivery schedules remain. So exactly when are they going to start producing the vehicles? And this is why I believe this late September date is so important. Lucid Air Production Preview Week announced at Arizona plant. And we talked about this in the last video. Of course, September 27th, during which select people have been given access to the plant, Motor Trends is definitely a great news source that I would say to maintain if you haven't already. If you want to keep up with EV or Lucid specifically, I would say keep up with them. Down here, I really like what they said. Of course, we sort of already knew that this was coming after driving the total range of 409 miles on a full charge, and they still had 69 miles left over in the car. So basically what they were saying in this article is Lucid Air EV scores EPA rating of 520 miles of range, but they already knew it because they had already driven it. So this last article by Motor Trend, 2022 Lucid Air Dream Edition R, exclusive first drive and absolute mic drop. And down here, basically it's saying you get to choose, do you want the R or do you want the P for the same price? R standing for range and P standing for performance. And then they're doing these comparisons of not only Tesla, but do you want a car that makes more horsepower than any Lamborghini ever made? I mean, it's just article after article. Now let's talk about VIN numbers. There's been a series of VIN numbers that have been circulating, released, and all you have to do is just go to DOT.report manufacturer 15526, and you could see there's a different series of VIN numbers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 released here, and then there's another website where they've got 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 listed here on another website. There's a series of VIN numbers that have been released. Rumors of October that they're going to start production. I believe we find out for sure next week. That's all I got for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.